Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the melee Incarnon weapon, the Innodem. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Warframes using abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about adding external things. Now, the only difference is when I do a melee video, I do use one external, and that is going to be a pet priming for me, and it's because almost every melee build will use a mod called Condition Overload, and Condition Overload requires you to be priming for it to work appropriately. And to show a video or a build without Condition Overload or without Condition Overload actually functioning correctly would be disingenuous. That's why I add that one external. Okay, enough of that spiel. Let's get into our little cave here. Let's go over our top and first commenters. Our top commenter is I'm a Problem 926. Our first commenter is Montero U. And our recent supporters are Toxic Sneeze, Johnny, and Eddie. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, we're doing the Innodem today. And I did not do a video yesterday, so I do apologize for that. Pepper was sick. She called in sick from work, and so she just kind of was chilling at home, getting better. And I didn't want to just leave her for like 5 hours while she was not feeling well. I just kind of wanted to hang out with her a bit. So these videos are only 30 minutes long, but probably in total for me to actually make them and get them uploaded and after like reviewing them, it's about like 5 hours. So I didn't want to just leave her there for 5 hours. So I took yesterday off, but that should still give us enough time for today to do the Innodem, tomorrow to do the Phalarx Incarnon, and then on Friday I plan to do a Warframe build. All right. Enough of me running my mouth. Let's get into the Innodem here. So the Innodem is a dagger. It's one of the OG Incarnon weapons from the Zaramon. So if we look at here, it actually has 5 Incarnon choices, or evolution choices I should say. We'll go over the evolutions after we go over the mods. So let's go into the Innodem here. I want to go over unique and interesting things about the Innodem, and I'm actually going to start with 2 very bad stats that the Innodem has. It's going to be the attack speed and the range. And if you look at the attack speed here, it looks like it's above average, but it's because it's taking account our attack speed mod. But without an attack speed mod, it actually has a below average attack speed, and it has a well below average range. 1.8 is horrible. Now, you make up for these 2 things with the Incarnon form and with some of the evolution choices. So with the Incarnon form and some of the evolution choices, you end up having a well above average attack speed and a very good range. But just keep in mind, when you're not in Incarnon, you're going to have really bad stats. Although, if you're using this as an actual melee weapon, you should be in Incarnon pretty much all the time. Okay, let's go over the Incarnon traits that you get when you go into Incarnon mode. And that's going to be +3 range, so that's what helps make up for its bad range. You get +40 attack speed, again, that helps make up for its bad attack speed. And then you get some other weird effects here. So you get your aim glide, or when you're aim gliding, and you melee attack, you launch radiation projectiles out. Kind of cool, a little bit niche. These projectiles have infinite punch through, and they go, I believe it's 28 meters they go total. It's kind of cool. I've tried to kind of mess around with it and play around with them. They're a little bit more niche, I feel, than you would actually use them all the time. But it's interesting. And then finishers grant 10% damage reduction, stacking 4 times. That's really cool. And so like 40% damage reduction, but these 10% damage reduction stacks are also like multiplicative with each other. So probably, after all the math is calculated, it's probably a bit more than that 40% at the end. So that's interesting. That's a kind of interesting like little thing that it does after finishers. And then there's another unique thing, and this is not involving the Incarnon form. This is just in general. So as long as you're holding the Innodem, you also get to move 10% quicker. Alrighty. So I think we can go over the mods now on the Innodem here. We're going to start with Voltaic Strike. This is going to be the 6060 Electric. We're using this. I'm going to skip ahead to the Arcane, because this is going to explain why we're using this. Melee Influence. On a melee electricity status, 20% chance for elemental melee status effects to apply to enemies within 20 meters for 18 seconds. So it's a very powerful melee Arcane. It's very hard for other melee Arcanes to even come close to beating Influence. It's a little bit boring because of that, because this does kind of just end up always being the choice. Unfortunately, I hope maybe in the future they kind of give us better choices or maybe buff up the other ones. I'm not really sure, but so yeah, melee influence here. Voltaic Strike to activate it. Let's continue on here. Galvanized Steel is going to be 110% crit chance, 120% crit damage. Organ Shatter is going to be 90% crit damage. Gladiator Might is going to be 60% crit damage and 120% crit chance. Condition Overload is going to be 80% melee damage per status type affecting the target, per unique status type affecting the target. Our Dirige Primer is going to be providing 8 to 9 statuses guaranteed on enemies around us all the time. With Momentous Bond, it could also technically cap out the statuses too and give every status, but that's a little bit more RNG. So we can really only bank on 8 to 9 statuses, but that's still quite a lot. You know, that's like 720% flat damage. In the next slot here, we have Gladiator Vice. This is 30% attack speed and 120% crit chance. You have the option in this slot to also go with Berserker Fury, which will be 70% attack speed, but you don't get the 120 crit. So that's kind of up to you. It's kind of a personal preference there. Berserker Fury will probably make it feel a lot better before you get into Incarnon mode. But when you're in Incarnon mode, Berserker Fury, I feel Berserker Fury feels a little bit too fast once you're in Incarnon mode. And that's why I like Gladiator Vice. I'd rather just have a little bit less attack speed and some crit chance as well. But that's kind of up to you. You can make your own decision on that. It also really depends on what stance you go with and what moveset you're spamming. Some of the movesets are a bit slower than others. So if you're choosing to go with a slower stance or moveset, you might want the more attack speed from Berserker Fury. So make that decision yourself there. Kind of up to you. Now, if you watched the Praetos Incarnon video from a couple of days ago, this has a similar thing. I'm going to go out of the mods real quick and just show off one of the evolutions here. It's going to be this one, Armed Inspiration. Collecting ammo grants 5 melee combo counter. Okay, so let's go back into the mods. So what does that mean? That means that the Innodem is actually pretty good as a melee weapon for a non-melee focused build. You're going in there with a ranged weapon, like maybe like the Torrid or something, who knows, just some kind of ranged weapon. And you still want to have a powerful melee weapon. The problem with a lot of melee weapons is when you whip them out, you're at 0 combo. Well, with the Innodem, because as you're picking up ammo with that evolution, you're actually gaining combo counter, you can kind of ensure that when you do whip this out when you need it, you'll be at a higher combo counter. So it makes it a very good choice for a non-melee focused melee weapon. And if that is what you are going for, then in this slot right here, let me just type in combo duration. You can go with either Gladiator Rush or Drifting Contact. Both are pretty good. It's hard for me to say which one is better. I think it comes down to personal preference here. But Gladiator Rush is +6 combo duration, and you actually still get the Gladiator effect on the bottom, so you still get 120% crit chance, you just don't get the attack speed. So you would put this over Gladiator Vice, and you're basically just swapping the 30 attack speed for +6 combo duration. Now, what will that do? Well, when you pick up ammo, it's going to make it, it's going to make your combo decay slower. So it'll ensure that when you are using your ranged build, when you whip out your melee weapon, you're at a higher combo count. Okay, so Gladiator Rush over Gladiator Vice, if you intend to use the Innodem as like a back pocket weapon. You're not really using it as your main damage source, but you still want it to be powerful when you whip it out. And then the other option too is Drifting Contact. This is +10 seconds of combo duration, so this, you'll really ensure you're at a higher combo count when you whip it out, but you don't get the 120 crit chance. Instead, you get 40 status chance, which is okay. I think the 120 crit chance versus 40 status chance, I think the crit chance is better, but maybe you will value the extra 4 seconds of combo duration as well. So you can make that decision yourself. Gladiator Rush or Drifting Contact if you're using the Innodem as a back pocket weapon. If you're using the Innodem as an actual like primary damage source, you're going in with a melee frame and you are purposely using the Innodem to kill things, then you should stick with either Gladiator Vice or Berserker Fury. All right, let me stop running my mouth about one slot there. Let's continue on here. We have Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. These are going to be our stacking with combo multiplier mods. So Blood Rush is 440% crit chance when at max combo, and Weeping Wounds is 440% status chance at max combo. In the stance slot, there are a bunch of different stances. Daggers actually have 3 different stances. They have Pointed Wind, Homing Fang, and Stinging Thorn. I am not particularly impressed with any of these, actually. There's not like one that I really like. I will go over all the stances after we go over the evolutions, and so you can kind of make your own decision on what you like. So yeah, we'll just leave Pointed Wind up here for now. In the Tennokai slot, the 2 best Tennokai mods for DPS are going to either be Disciple's Merit and Dreamer's Wrath. Dreamer's Wrath will let you Tennokai more often, and when you do Tennokai, you're going to have more crit damage for your attacks. Really nice. Disciple's Merit will let you Tennokai the most often, because this actually makes your Tennokai happen after every 4 melee hits. And so not only is this consistent, but on average, it's actually going to be even quicker than Dreamer's Wrath. You just don't get the extra crit damage from it. So you can kind of make that decision there, Disciple's Merit or Dreamer's Wrath for your Tennokai if you want the max DPS. The other thing I'm always going to say moving forward on the Tennokai slot is Opportunity's Reach is really good for older people that have bad reflexes. Or if you're a younger person with bad reflexes, Opportunity's Reach is really good, because this gives you a 4-second window to press your Tennokai button or your middle click or whatever it is on your controller. I have an issue with this. I usually can't find a target quick enough and press my middle click in time, and what I end up doing is I press it too late, and then I waste my entire combo counter, which is really bad. And so, even though technically, like if you were to compare Opportunity's Reach versus Disciple's Merit, with a person that had good reflexes, Disciple's Merit will win every time. But for me personally, because of my bad reflexes, I'll probably actually get more DPS out of Opportunity's Reach, because I'm not going to be wasting my combo counter as much like when I use Disciple's Merit. So always consider this. Always consider Opportunity's Reach if you have bad reflexes. And the other thing with Opportunity's Reach is not only do you get 4 seconds to press your button, but you actually get a little bit extra too. You get 3 meters of extra range on your Tennokai attacks, which is really nice. So for the video, I'm going to keep this as Disciple's Merit, but probably after the video for myself, I'm going to put Opportunity's Reach right here, just because, again, I have bad reflexes. Okay, and that's the mods to do the Innodem there. I think we can go over the evolutions now. The Innodem has some really weird evolutions. I'll just say that before we go into them. So, all right, first evolution. Well, first evolution is that you've just unlocked it. So now this is the second evolution we're on here. So I'm going to go with Bladed Harmony. This is plus 25% attack speed. This helps to make up for its bad attack speed. It also lets us use Gladiator Vice a little bit more easier than always having to go with Berserker Fury. So that's why I'm picking Bladed Harmony here. Orcan Reach is also plus 0.5 range, which is pretty decent. So this is also a pretty good pick. And then Striking Swiftness is plus 30% sprint speed. I think this is the weakest choice, although I should have tested this. I think this might be like the Praetos, where if you just keep this in your back pocket, this might actually just work all the time for you. So if you didn't really care about the Innodem, but you just wanted some sprint speed, maybe this would work. Again, I didn't test that though, so maybe someone in the comments could help with that information there. But in general, if you're going for an actual melee build for the Innodem, I think you're either going to pick plus 25 attack speed or you're going to pick the 0.5 range. Both are good choices. I'm going to pick the attack speed myself, though. Okay, third evolution here. These are very weird choices. So you get plus 60% finisher damage. You get increased range of aerial melee attacks by plus 0.5 meters. Remember, your aerial melee attack shoots out like radiation projectiles that go 28 meters. I don't necessarily, does this increase their width? I couldn't really tell. Does it increase the range from 28 to 28.5? Because that would be really bad. I don't know that this actually affects like slam attacks, because I don't think slam attacks would be considered aerial melees. I'm not really sure. This is a little bit of a weird one there. It could be good if I'm just not aware of what it fully interacts with. And then this one here, Hawk Momentum. You're going to get 5 combo for every 10 meters of continuous slide. That's interesting. I don't know. I'm personally just going to go with Blade Twister, plus 60% finisher damage. I don't finisher a lot, but again, this weapon has that interaction where when you get finisher kills, you actually get increased damage reduction. So it kind of combos with what this weapon already does. I'm going to pick Blade Twister. I don't think any of these are great choices. Skyborn Hunter might have more merit than what I'm making it out to be if it interacts with certain things that I'm just not aware of. Okay, 4th evolution here. We're going to go for Swooping Lunge. This is going to be on an airborne melee kill, plus 50% melee damage for 10 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Okay, now something important to know is that airborne melee kills also, for this evolution, I should say. For this evolution, it also counts as dots from your melee weapons that kill things while you are in the air. So while you're in the air, if a slash proc or a heat proc or something kills an enemy, it will also trigger Swooping Lunge and you will get plus 50% melee damage for 10 seconds, stacking 3 times. So even if you aren't purposely trying to trigger this, you're still going to trigger this like pretty often because, I mean, this is Warframe. We're bullet jumping all over the place. Like usually moving from pack to pack, even on a melee build, you're kind of jumping and slamming from pack to pack. So there's a good chance that while you're jumping in the air or bullet jumping, one of your dots is going to kill something and bam, then you have a plus 50% melee damage bonus. So Swooping Lunge, again, even if you're not intending to purposely do those airborne melee attacks that shoot out the weird radiation projectile, like you're still going to get value from this just because, through pure attrition of your dots killing things while you're in the air. All right, let's look at the other ones here. Incarnon Imago. This is one of those choices that just let you enter Incarnon form earlier than having to have a higher combo count. So instead of, I think it's 5 or 6 times, you do this out of 3 times and you enter Incarnon. Kind of a weaker choice. I don't think this is a good one. Protracted Execution on a finisher, 20 combo on finisher. This used to be really good on Ash until they made Ash not work with any stat sticks, which sucks. I'm kind of salty about that. So yeah, we're not going to go for this one here. We're going to go for Swooping Lunge. 5th evolution. So we have the Collecting Ammo grants 5 melee combo counter. Again, this is really good for a non-melee focused melee build. Or no. A non-melee focused melee weapon. There we go. Stunning Brutality on a finisher. Stun aware enemies in a 10 meter radius. This is okay. Again, we're not really going to finish her too much, but we're going to finish her once in a while, I guess, to activate the damage reduction. And this one here on a finisher, plus 40% heavy attack efficiency for 40 seconds. We're not going for a heavy spam build, so this doesn't make sense. So if you are using the Innodem as an actual melee weapon, not just a back pocket melee, you'd probably go with Stunning Brutality because you really should just always be at a 12 times anyway. Is it amazing? Not really. It's just some stuns that you get on enemies. But if you're using the Innodem as a back pocket weapon and just whipping it out when you absolutely need it, then Armed Inspiration is a great choice. All right. I'm going to pick the stunning one, though, for now, because I am going to act as if this is my main damage source. So that's all the evolutions for the Innodem there. It has some really weird evolution choices. Some of them are straightforward, right? Like the attack speed and the range is really nice, but the other ones are really weird choices. So, okay, I think we can go over the stances now. What we're going to do is we're going to go... Oop, I'm going in the wrong direction again. We're going to go into the Simulacrum. We're going to go over the stances for our Innodem. Now, if you are not interested in the stances, you can always skip forward. I'm going to have timestamps for everything, and that's okay. We'll see what one we have on right now. I'm going to try to put on Stinging Thorn first because that's the one I have written down. Yeah, let's put on Stinging Thorn. Okay, so we're going to do Stinging Thorn first. And we're going to show off its movesets. So we're going to start with the Forward Light. This is low DPS and no forced slashes. So you probably wouldn't want to pick this one if you want to do Forward Lights, just because it's not really that great. Okay, now we have the Neutral Light. This is average DPS with 3 force slashes. This actually has the most amount of force slashes out of any of the stances. This is okay. A lot of the attacks only hit exactly what's in front of you, which I don't really like that. Okay. Now we have the Forward Block. This is going to be low DPS with 1 force slash and a slam. This is the only dagger animation that has a slam in it. Well, other than the actual slam attack. So, Forward Block. It's okay. You know, it's got the spinning attack that'll hit a lot of things around you, and it's got the slam that'll hit a lot of things around you, and it's actually got some movement. So I do kind of like this one. It does say that it has low DPS, but what the wiki calculates, like how the wiki calculates DPS is, I believe, on 1 target. So, you know, it's not accounting for the slam being able to hit multiple dudes or the spin being able to hit multiple dudes. Okay, and next we have the Neutral Block, which is average DPS and 1 force slash. All right, so I think the winner in Stinging Thorn would either be the Neutral Light, the one that has 3 force slashes, or the Forward Block, the one that is unfortunately low DPS, but it has 1 force slash, and it has these attacks that actually hit a lot of dudes around you. Okay, enough with Stinging Thorn. Let's go to the next one. Which is going to be Pointed Wind. Okay, we'll start with the Forward Light. Pointed Wind's Forward Light actually has average DPS, so if you were going to spam a Forward Light, it would be Pointed Wind. This is the Forward Light here. It's okay. You know, it has an attack that kind of spins around and hits everything around you. That's kind of okay. We're going to do the Neutral Light. This is going to be high DPS and 1 forced slash. All right. Now we're going to do the Forward Block. This is average DPS and no forced slashes. All right. Now we're going to do the Neutral Block. This is high DPS and 1 forced slash. Okay. So yeah, Pointed Wind, you know, if you were going to, I think this is the one to pick if you just want to spam the Forward Light. I'm a bit boring. I usually do just like to spam Forward Light, so I'm probably going to pick Pointed Wind, but yeah, the Forward Light doesn't technically have any force slashes in it. All right, and finally, let's test out the last one here, Homing Fang. Homing Fang, unfortunately, doesn't start with the same polarity as the other ones, so I'm going to take off Disciple's Merit just to show this off. I'm going to put on Homing Fang here. All right, I'm going to start with the Forward Light. This is extremely low DPS. The DPS said that it was so low that I was actually questioning it because I was like, damn, like this is like 3 times as low as the others. So this is it right here. I mean, it's got a spinny attack. Maybe that's why they made it low DPS, because it could technically hit multiple things. So maybe it makes up for its DPS because, you know, it has the potential to hit a bunch of dudes around you. So I don't know. Now you have the Neutral Light. This is going to be average DPS with 1 force slash. It's an okay one. All right, now we have the Forward Block. This is low DPS and 1 force slash. All right, now we have the Neutral Block. This is average DPS and 1 force slash. I think that the Neutral Block is actually the same as the Neutral Light, unfortunately. It looks the same. It does that, like, twirly thing. So, Homing Fang is I feel like it's kind of the loser out of all 3 of them. And not only are the movesets kind of lackluster, but you also have to like spend a forma to actually fit this stupid thing. So I don't really see a point in it there. So I'm going to go back to my pointed wind because I'm probably just going to spam a forward light, to be perfectly honest. We'll put on Disciples Merit here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So that is all three of the stances. I think we can go back to our base of operations and we can start the gameplay off. We'll do the showcase for the Innodem. Make sure we're on solo. We're on Steel Path. Void Mott is where we always do our tests. And we'll see how this little guy does. So a lot of the good melee weapons, they usually hit about 1,100 kills. So we're hoping this guy gets to 1,100, possibly more. Oh, also to show off the radiation projectile thing, you know, if I glide and it's hard to see. Maybe I have like maybe I have, oh, you know what? I think it has to be in Incarnon mode. Sorry. I'm showing off something that's not even working until I'm in Incarnon. But yeah, when you aim glide attack, it'll throw out like these like little projectiles. A lot of times with the Innodem, how I like to play it is I actually like to convert the Tennokai into a heavy slam, because that ensures that I'm up off the ground more often, and it allows that swooping evolution to actually trigger more often. But that's up to you. That's just how I like to play it. Maybe you don't like to convert it into a heavy slam. Maybe you just like to actually do the regular heavy attack, which is fine. I just do it because it forces me to not always be on the ground, and so I get more value out of that that swooping evolution. Come on, give us a good tile set. Where's the enemies at? Where are the enemies? Oh my goodness. I feel like this map doesn't want to spawn us enemies. Did we leave them in a back room somewhere? Do I just not have radar? No, I have radar. These stupid Orican tile sets. They really... DE needs to go back and they need to fix these. This room right here has enemies get stuck in it. These stupid traps that like shoot laser beams out of the walls will have enemies like stuck in this room. And it's the same thing on Lua. I actually used to like doing my testing on Lua Circulus because enemies started at a higher level. And so I was like, oh, okay, you know, I can do Lua Circulus where enemies are like level 200 starting. And that'll be more like, oh, I just wasted my heavy attack there. That'll be more indicative of like, you know, higher level enemies. But Lua Circulus has even more issues than Void Mott does. Because on Lua Circulus, the Drac Masters, the Dracs that they spawn don't count as like the same faction, so they end up fighting each other. I might be the only loser that knows that, and I'm too lazy to report it to DE, so it'll probably just never get fixed. But on Void Mott, it's this room is the issue right here with the traps. Once you destroy the traps, it's not too bad. Like the laser traps, but they still, I don't know, it still seems to screw them up. I don't know if the cold field does. Like this right here is a cold field that'll actually slow you if you walk into it. I don't know if that affects them or not, but I know the lasers definitely do. Oh no, Dirige went down. We'll get him back up. He's back up. Our little guy's back up. All right, 5 minutes in. Got the Acolyte coming. It's like it's going to be Malice. He's kind of a hard one. Well, actually not for melee build. For melee build, he's not really that hard. He's dead. For range, he puts a... Oh, I just wasted my heavy attack again. Oh my goodness. That's why I usually go with Opportunities Reach, because I have them old man reflexes. I have them old man reflexes. I Tennokai too late. Yeah, so Malice, he puts a mag bubble on you, and if you're using a ranged weapon, you can actually end up self-deleting yourself. I did it again. I wasted my heavy combo again. Damn, Salt! Maybe you should put on Opportunities Reach on these videos. Give the weapon a fair chance. I'm going to make the weapon look weaker than it actually is. I'm trying here.
Look at them. They come to this place when they know they are not pure. My brothers, did I not tell of this day? Did I not prophesy?
You don't have to slam as much as I am. I just like to convert the Tennokais into heavy slams to ensure that that swooping evolution thingy goes off more often. That buff does technically last for like 10 seconds, so you probably don't gotta Tennokai like crazy.
I will teach these trespassers the redemptive power of my Yakuski. They will learn its...
Oh yeah, Vor, here you are.
We cannot blame these creatures. They are being led by a force
He TP'd somewhere else. Who knows?
imposter
He's annoying. I hate Vor.
of the void. The Tenno are lost. Behold, they cut me down, but still I speak. I am energy, and I cannot be destroyed.
We're hoping this guy gets 1,100 or more kills. On the Praetos, I also screwed up my Tennokai multiple times, and it still got over 1,100, so hopefully this guy will get over 1,100, even though I screwed it up a few times. I lost my combo like 3 or 4 times now. Oh, I just did it again, damn it. Oh, Salt, what are you doing? What are you doing? You big dummy. Put Opportunities Reach on next time. Maybe next time I'll explain what the highest DPS ones are, and then I'll just put on my Opportunities Reach Old Man mod. Instead of trying to go with Disciples Merit or Dreamer's Wrath. Dreamer's Wrath is also good DPS, but it's even worse because it's random. Like, at least Disciples Merit, you can kind of guess when it's going to come up because it's every 4 hits. Dreamer's Wrath is even harder for me because it's random. So some of the average melee weapons we've done have been like 700-800 kills, but really good ones should be about 1100. We got another acolyte coming. Acolyte's dead. About 20 more seconds. Try to get our kill numbers up here. Slammed into like absolutely nothing there. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's head towards extraction, and then we'll take a gander at our kill numbers here. Let's see. Oh, okay, 1011. That probably was my fault, losing my combo like 5, almost 6 times, I think, during that run. So yeah, 1011. We were really hoping to get 1100, but it probably was my fault. It was probably my fault for losing my combo a few times there. So you can make your own judgment, like, do you think this is as powerful as the other ones we've tested? Or do you think it was just my fault that maybe knocked it down 100 kills or so? I'm personally going to think it was my fault. I think it was me. I'll take the blame. So I really like the Innodem. Good weapon. It's a good dagger. We haven't done a lot of daggers in our videos, so this is like one of the first daggers we've done, I think. Definitely worth getting, worth building out. It used to be the best stat stick for Ash, and what did they do to my boy Ash? What did they do to my boy Ash? I went like to test him one day, and I was like, the stat stick doesn't seem to be working. Like, his little clones are moving really slowly. And I tested like everything on the stat stick, and it just was not working. And I'm like, they just destroyed stat stick for Ash like completely. But enough of that rant. So if you guys like the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing, or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.